Ladies and gentlemen.
I want to know, can you find your mind?
Welcome to Love Your Brain.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Eric.
Hey everybody, my name's Dave. Welcome to Love Your Brain. And how you doing this week, Eric?
I'm doing much better now.
This month.
I'm doing much better now that I'm here. This podcast is always something that grounds me, and I think I was telling you guys as in there's someone else in the room. Oh boy.
Gasp.
I think I was telling you people the other night about what this podcast is for me, that I feel more fully self-expressed here than in most places. And I think it's because of the I call it sacred space, but I think it's because of the sacred space that, you and I, Dave, create, that I really get this sense of like feeling like I'm heard and that I'm speaking my truth. So, how are you doing?
Well, that was pretty heavy, man.
Yeah, well, that's me.
I was just going to say, it snowed today, but
to talk about the weather. We don't do that, do we?
I actually, I know exactly what you're saying. You and I have this, we've already worked out a lot of the kinks and how we communicate with each other long before we showed up here.
Right.
So yeah, it's like there's less
Static.
There's less
Distraction.
what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm trying to help you right now. I don't know if you
Friction.
noticed that.
I'm trying to say that it's like the thing and it goes through the thing and it's like
there's free flow of words, of thoughts.
with any sort of like catch along. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't think that. I don't like your hat.
Right. It's not restricted.
Yeah. No, I love your hat.
Oh, yeah, I like your hat though. You're not wearing it right now though.
No, my head got hot.
Okay. I got Dave that hat.
Eric, last month, right after we recorded, Eric gave me a beautiful hat that has a nice silk line. Well, on the back has a nice steal your face patch sewed into it, and on the inside a happy 60th for the Grateful Dead since they were formed.
It's a Scally Cap by Boston Scally Cap. They maybe will hear this and then want to sponsor us. I love Boston Scally Cap.
They should send us free stuff.
That's what they should do.
I think that's what they should do.
Anyways, I just thought it was funny because you were so skeptical at the fact that I got you a gift and that you would actually like the gift I got you.
Skeptical? Me?
Yeah. Not Dave.
Never.
Yeah.
I accept everything at face value.
Okay. So here we are. Typically we say like what number episode it is, but I think I'm done because we're past 10 and it's just another episode.
Now we just have to wait for like big numbers.
Big numbers, like 20th, 50th. So tonight Dave and I are both really excited about our guest. And I'm going to say a few words about our guest. So this person, the way she occurs to me is that she is someone that was sent to me at a time in my life where I needed a person to hold space for me. And it was definitely a divine intervention of sorts. Or as I like to say, the elegant orchestration of the universe and the sacred connecting of the dots.
Yeah.
And wow, I just got a little emotional.
I know.
Yeah, I met this person at a float tank place, and I was going through a very difficult time in my life and knew that I was about to hear some pretty bad news of someone close to me who passed away, and this person held space for me in such a way that I was like, I need to be friends with this human. And over the years, we've developed this beautiful friendship. And I know this person to be an amazing wife,
Thank you.
a profoundly insightful mother, just based on the things that she's shared with me. She's a community builder. She is a facilitator, a sacred space holder, and someone who is weaving her medicine into everything she does. And that is why I am just so grateful to know her and call her friend. And I would like to introduce Shannon.
Wow. That's a lot. That makes me emotional too. Thank you very much. Thank
the
you.
truth.
Yeah, that was a really powerful day that we met. I
Yeah.
can't believe it's been years. That's wild.
Yeah, well, how many, like what?
3.
It's been 3 years. Wow.
Yep. Soon. Soon.
Incidentally, it's been a couple minutes for me.
Yep. Yeah. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
So how are you?
I am really good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I am.
What is it? So when you're really good, what does that actually mean? You know, because you ask people like, hey, how's it going? I'm great. I'm really good. Well, what does really good mean to you, Shannon?
Content, grateful, excited about life. I just am in a good place. And I'm trying to savor that because it comes in ebbs and flows, right?
Oh,
So there will be another wave of whatever. And so right now I'm on a good one and I'm just going to enjoy it.
that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, the waxing and waning of life.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that old saying about that life is much like the heartbeat monitor where you can see it and there's peaks and valleys and peaks and valleys and you really don't want it to be a flat line.
Yeah.
No, that'd be
That's
boring.
that's not a life,
Yeah.
even if you are around.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, over the years that I've known you, I've watched you take inspiration through the work that you've done. And the work I'm referring to is some of the spiritual medicine paths that you and I share in common.
Yep.
And recently, within the past, how long has it been? Almost
Year and a half.
a year and a half. You opened this place.
Yeah. Yes.
You want to say some
Sure.
words about that place?
Yeah. So it's called Tethered. It is a nature-based church. And really, it's a place for people who are spiritual but not religion, who are looking for community. And whatever your personal practice is, we're down with all that stuff, But it was initially started because of the medicine work and ceremonies that I've been a part of. It's like, how do I bring that sacredness into my everyday life? Like, I can't always be in ceremony,
Yeah.
right? But how do I bring the community that happens in ceremony and the sacredness into the everyday?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what Tethered is for us.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is the big trick for some of this, whether you regularly attend an organized religious church and you go there on Sunday or Friday or what have you and spend your time there and then head off for the rest of the week. How do you keep that with you,
Right.
Right.
It's not just about the emotional connection of feeling better because I'm in the building either. It's a,
Right.
you hopefully undergo a change in these places and can carry that forward. But for me in particular, if I carry the same that I normally carry with me into every day, then that stuff really doesn't change me. It's just something fun to listen to.
Right.
It's like peeing yourself in dark pants. It feels good while you're doing it, but serves no lasting purpose. But nobody else can tell. So. dark pants. Anyways,
Leave it to Dave
I love
to
that.
bring that into it.
I'm not going to let you get too serious.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. So, I'm thinking that there's probably some listeners that are like, okay, what are they actually talking about? Plant medicine, ceremony space.
Yeah.
And, I have a lot of people in my life that we share this in common and we speak freely.
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
when you said held space for you, I think it's the first time we've broached that term
Yep.
on the show.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, but I didn't want to interrupt your introduction. So
Right.
now that you brought it up again,
Yes.
I'd like to see if you guys would want to talk about
Well,
that.
yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't use that phrase in my everyday
Right.
life.
Right.
I use different words, so I'd like to
Got
hear
it.
what.
You want to take a stab at what it means to hold space?
Sure. Well, I think it comes in many capacities, but it is, to me, creating a safe container to allow someone the space to be their most full and authentic self, whatever that looks like. And that can be like how you and I met, just like out in the wild.
And we weren't doing plant medicine.
No, not at all.
No.
No, we were just talking and sharing our experiences, and it's just kind of to hold that and allow somebody to share without interruption, without trying to change anything or point them in any direction. It's truly just to like hold the space of their experience. So in the everyday, and then also in like plant medicine space or psychedelics or. Like, we can use all the words.
For
Yeah.
those listeners that think we're being cryptic, we're not going to be cryptic. Plant medicine space is...
And we've not really talked a ton about plant medicine.
No,
the
we
phrase
haven't.
comes up, and we're slowly starting to talk about it more and more because, well, we talk about the brain, we talk about the mind, and I can't think of things that connect those two things more than psychedelics and the transformation that I can't talk. The transformative power they have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So feel free to.
So that's what
talk
we're talking
plant
about
medicine
with
as well, yeah.
plant medicine spaces. We're talking about psychedelics. But yeah, I'll take a little bit of a stab at sacred space as well, piggybacking on what Shannon said. I also think there's components of, and Dave, I'm going to get a little spiritual, foo, whatever you want to call it. I think that...
I've never said foo-foo.
Well, I don't know.
I believe I've said flaky.
Flaky, okay. I'm going to get a little spiritually flaky here, according to you.
No.
I think that part of being a space holder or holding sacred space, like Shannon said, is creating a container. What does that mean? I think it means everything she said. And then there's this component of the energetic vibration that the person actually puts out into that space itself. And I have seen people attempt to hold space.
Yeah.
And great, kind, awesome human beings. And then I've witnessed people really hold space and felt it without it being a vocalization or an auditory thing. It's like, wow, okay, there's something that was just created here, and now it's sacred.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's to me what sacred space is.
Now, you've known me long enough.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say that I am capable of doing that?
150,000%.
Although I would use a different term, I would consider it being completely as present as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And when I'm as present as I can be, I'm also less judgmental because I'm not in the future, the past, or the outside of the conversation going, really? Dude, clean that chair off after you leave. I mean, I'm not judging any of it. I'm very present with the person, and and obviously privacy and confidentiality go well with that too. For somebody, if somebody knows that, there's trust built into that.
Absolutely.
Completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it says a lot about the space holders when people really share,
Yeah.
So, which is hard to do. It's hard to be our full self sometimes and to be witnessed. But I think that's what we're supposed to be doing. Honestly,
Yeah.
to just try and live as authentically as possible. And that's a lot of space holding. But I also think, too, it's hard for people to hold space if they can't even kind of hold their own emotion.
Yeah.
If they get really uncomfortable when they see other people struggling or having a hard time or all that stuff. And I think part of space holding is just to bear witness.
Bear witness with,
Yeah.
with safety protocol.
Yeah.
And go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, I was just like speaking just even in the everyday life, not outside
In
of
the ceremony of life when we're
Yeah.
out here
Yeah.
with people.
Yep.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it probably necessary to stick in there somewhere is that it is really helpful if, as you were saying, you can sit, if you're able to sit with yourself.
Yeah.
You're how did I want to say that? Being able to be there for somebody else and being able to be open like that involves being able to not be thinking about what you're going to say next,
Yeah.
how you're going to show off and make it look like you can fix their problems or any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, I think listening's probably just being silent isn't listening. Yeah,
Right.
I guess
Right.
is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is funny. And, in audio, you don't want to just go quiet and not say anything for too long.
But we just did.
I was trying to think of a good Kirk to throw in there. Like, wait, we cannot. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'd like to ask a question about plant medicine.
I was going to go there, but
Yeah.
yes. Let's go there.
As a person who now I have a pretty decent idea of what we're going to talk about in the area. We talked the other day and stuff, but if you were to try to talk to somebody who just walked up to you and said, "What the hell's plant medicine?" Outside of get your your vitamins and minerals and
Eat your
fiber and
vegetables.
do all that good stuff, and you get your willow bark gives you your aspirin and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how would you describe it?
I talk to a lot of people that probably are not actually asking for this information. So it's funny you even pose it that way. So I'm for sure a product of DARE. I never did psychedelics until I was 39. And for me, it was life changing. And so I talk about that. I talk about the benefits for us. There's many, but for me, it shut off this really abusive inner dialogue. I think my mind was quiet for the first time ever in my life. It allowed me to see my body in an honest way. I didn't even recognize myself, honestly. I think I had some form of body dysmorphia. It's made me just a better person, a better mom, a better space holder. It actually taught me how to hold space for people.
Yeah, it does. It does like to teach, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, too, that...
I shouldn't say like to. It's what it does.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it taught me that I'm allowed to just have fun and be here and enjoy and have a human experience. I don't have to try to be perfect. Obviously, I think it's important that we try to be the best versions of ourselves. But for me, I got to see that our souls are eternal. And right now I'm having a human experience. And what do I want that to look like? And it gives me this blank slate to kind of show up in my life and to the people that I love. And then I don't know where else you guys want to go, but
That's being,
We
that
will
is
go
being
wherever you
present.
want to go.
I was going to say
I love what you're
the
saying.
day after, I feel like intimacy is always better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's, I think, really important because a lot of people talk about these magic transformative. Lately, suddenly people are
yeah.
talking about the magical transformative powers of psychedelics, and honestly, as a person who followed the Grateful Dead around for as long as I did, I would honestly say that psychedelics hitting the street was probably one of the worst things that could have happened to us as a people in terms of where we could be progressively with medicine with it, because it's that promising.
Yeah, I see that.
You know, I'm not saying that it shouldn't have been out there, but the way that it became more of a party drug, I don't think really helped a lot of people in terms of where we're at now.
Yeah. I don't really have an opinion on that, because I think there are people who take it in party settings and end up having really transformative experiences. So I don't have an opinion too much. I just entered it in a very like spiritually ceremonial way, and so that's all I know.
Yeah.
So.
And that probably left my mouth wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
I know
that's
what you're
okay.
saying, though.
Medicinally speaking, we could be much further than we are just because of stigma, you know, and the war on drugs.
I was
and
going to
a
say,
number
I
of
think
other
that's
things.
really where the
Yeah.
blame
And
should
you're
go
a
from.
product of that DARE thing,
So
I
am
am
I.
you know?
Oh, yeah. Drugs are really
I was
expensive.
an example of DARE. I was the before picture, you know?
Yeah.
It really was.
When you say like a byproduct of the DARE culture, the way I take that is like there was this, like Nancy Reagan, just say no, you're gonna die.
Yes.
Drugs are bad.
Yes.
It's like fear. So yeah, it created this stigma of people placing a large array of substances.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Some very harmful, some very not okay, but placing them in the same category as other substances,
For sure.
which have been used for tens of thousands of years by humans
Yes.
in ceremony space as a way to, like, understand what it means to be human.
Yeah.
And used in a way of ceremony from boy to man, girl to woman.
Yeah.
And so, it sucks that I talk to people sometimes, usually at the gym, and they're like, oh, yeah, marijuana and heroin. And it's like, whoa, you're putting marijuana in the same category as heroin?
Yeah.
It's just, it's interesting.
Nixon did.
It is.
That's where that classification system came from.
Yeah.
And that was purely, well, anyway.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about the, for one of the things I found is with as medical cannabis is getting more widespread, is that the biggest thing I notice in people in terms of learning how to change your mind, completely, erase one perspective and incorporate a new one, is this, for example, let's use cannabis just for a minute to say, there was the benefit that I was going for when I was a teenager or something was a buzz, was this euphoria.
Right.
There was probably other things happening in, like, say, for an example, an ache or pain, but I was not paying attention to it.
Right.
Now, later on, as you start to talk about using it for pain, you start to look at the benefit being the pain relief and the side effect being the euphoria. And are there ways to separate it mentally, like you feel a side effect of another medicine?
Right.
And the same can be said for psychedelics and how you're going into it, that going into it, I used psychedelics at a much younger age than yourself, and I went into it with a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
But it led me away from that. And then I only used it for significant times. And so that's, why I said it's not like it likes to teach. It's what it does.
Oh, absolutely.
It replasticizes certain parts of your brain so that they can be rebuilt again with new experience, which is, I think, where we could probably talk about things like integration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe that there is a consciousness to these, like mushrooms or ayahuasca. Absolutely. I once went to sit with mushrooms, and I was in a bad space, and I was going in like, okay, maybe this will help shift me out or whatever. It was the worst experience I've ever had in my life. I was curled in a ball, terrified for hours. And to me, it felt like they were telling me, you came here in a pretty disrespectful manner. Like, don't not ever show up to us like that again. Ever. We're not here as a quick fix. Because you're right, integration is the key, really, to all of it. And I think that they kind of demand some respect and to be treated with sacredness. And
it's, and I believe if you want whatever change that you experience to be able to affect the rest of your life, to go forward as a changed person, integration is important. Otherwise, it's just a one-off experience, really, which is never truly the case.
Right.
Something sticks around, but you can really choose what should stick around.
Right.
Yeah.
Shannon, how would you define integration? Once again, we're using these words that, like, we tend to use a lot.
We didn't really kind of talk about this. There is really 3 parts to this. There is a preparation part prior to the experience.
Yep.
Oh, that's what I was asking her about.
Oh.
I was like, Shannon, what is your definition?
You said her name and everything, right? And
I did.
So, about those Red Sox, huh?
This is great. Integration.
Yes. Okay. But I do believe it starts with the prep, the prep for sure. I think it's good to have some sort of intention or question focused going into these things. And then you have your experience and your ceremony. And then after, the integration really truly is, for me, I journal a lot after my experience. Like, from the moment I am back in this space, I'm journaling. I do a lot of talking. I've, like, the people that I started Tethered with, we do a lot of integration work together in constant conversation. And I think a big part of it is really, truly observing the self and noticing the small shifts, because some of them are small. Really giving yourself the wins when you notice them. And I think what the medicine does, it gives you this space to truly observe the self. And so when you see old patterns coming through, it's far more noticeable, and you can kind of stop in that moment and be like, wait, this doesn't feel right in my body. This isn't actually true for me. And it allows you this room to kind of shift and make a new choice and show up differently. But I think you have to really, truly pay attention. And it can be hard. It can be very hard work. Yeah,
there's actually some science that backs up what you're talking about. I think I might have sent you that clip. I might have sent you that clip too, Dave. I actually heard it on National Public Radio, of all places. And there was a research team that was studying the effects of psychedelics. And
You're talking about the Ecstasy of the Brain episode from Radiolab?
No, I think it might have been Shankara Radhantham. It took me 5 years to pronounce his name right.
You did great.
The Hidden Brain. I think it might have been Hidden Brain. That's what it was. Hidden Brain was Shankara Radhantham. Anyways.
Who's it with?
No, I'm not going to do it again. If you say it three times, he's going to be here, and he'll put us all to shame. So, anyways, the research was about the effects of psychedelics on people with brain plasticity, and to make a very long story very short, they defined what they called the critical window.
Yes.
For certain psychedelics.
That was totally the Open Brain episode.
Okay.
Radiolab.
Oh, right on.
Because I've still got it on there. I've listened to it a couple times.
Oh, it's good stuff. But
that particular part you're talking about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The critical window being that there's this period of time after you sit with certain psychedelics where you have a period of time where your brain is more likely to undergo that plasticity.
Absolutely.
And rewire around, especially around like narratives and a lot of that stuff. So I think,
for example, just so that people know what he's talking about, like if you're working on emotional or intimacy issues, MDMA would be a substance that they would use.
Yep.
And it does have a certain window, whether it be, some of them are a month and some of them might be like 6 months, that during which time that integration that we're going to kind of get to is where you can literally
change your life, rewire
change
your brain. I think the most powerful one they talked about was, I should know. It's an African bark.
Ibogaine.
Ibogaine, or iboga, depending on how they break it down. Right. Yeah. There's 2 different ways to break it down, but that one, I think they said it could be like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
But like ketamine is like a week.
Yeah.
And mushrooms are like 2 weeks. And I'm making it up, but there really is this range. There's definitely this range. So anyways, pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. That I don't remember any of the time frames, but it was a really interesting listen to because they did kind of break. The woman who did really knew her stuff, and she did walk through a number of different psychedelics and talk about their window and about, and what, not just what their window is, but what it targets. Certain psychedelics is better for certain transformations.
Yep. Yes.
Or, like you were saying, and if you go into it with a negative headspace, there's a thing called set and setting.
Absolutely.
Might bring up, but you also said sometimes it's not fun, and definitely for sure that's one thing to get across to people is that a psychedelic experience is not always pleasant.
No.
Definitely not.
And it's always educational.
Absolutely.
If you pause long enough to think about it or to take any of it in instead of just, freaking, I've read people do that. And so,
yeah.
I'm joking. I've definitely lost my way a couple times. But yeah, it's not necessarily always a pleasant experience. Sometimes it is. I have one particular time in my life where it literally, the entire world transformed for me and stayed that way for some time. And, it left a mark on me that, hasn't left ever since. So I'm not quite sure how I got on that, but.
Well, I think you just needed to get it out, buddy.
Yeah, no, and it was good. I mean, it was a little ego dissolution where the people around me became an ocean of which I was just another wave, Yeah. And it was pretty amazing.
Rumi, what's Rumi's quote? I'm not.
Oh, yes. Like something about a drop in the
Drop
ocean.
in the ocean, yeah.
I'm sorry.
An entire ocean. I'm not a drop in the ocean. I'm an entire ocean in
a drop. Yeah, that's it.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
I think more along the lines of Thich Nhat Hanh, where he talks about the lesson about the wave. Each wave raises up and thinks, I am. Look at me. I feel so. I'm separate from the water. I'm not part of the water. I'm a wave. And then sinks back down and realizes it's back into the ocean again.
Yeah.
And it's just that ego is the difference kind of thing. So back to you.
What do you think, Shannon, is something that people should take into consideration or know about psychedelics that is important to you?
That's important to me. First of all, I don't think that they are for everyone, but I also believe that not everyone has to do it in order for the world to change.
Right.
I've seen that just in my own family setting, but I think they are truly sacred tools to remind us of who we really are and what we are here on this planet in these bodies doing. And I think they're tools. I think they can be tricky. I think you really want to do your research. You want to understand. Also, too, like you said, different psychedelics do different things for people, and I think it's important to know those before you go in and sit with what you're called to, but also what really might be your best option.
And
You
I
know.
would definitely recommend somebody who's brand new to it to definitely be with somebody who's experienced.
Very, yeah.
Preferably very experienced. you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. And that's tricky too, because, you know, I went to this Maine Fungi Fest last May, and there was a physician in there giving a talk on psychedelics and parenting. And somebody asked, like, what age do you kind of talk about this? And his approach was, okay, who was 13 when they first did psychedelics? And some people raise their hands. And then he's like, 14, 15. He's like, this is the age where we have
There
these
you go.
conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like the nerd in the back who's like, I was 39. You know, and so I think having really honest conversations, not in the form of dare, but really truly honest conversations with younger people, and being good examples of people who use medicines or psychedelics, being responsible, being good stewards. You know, I talk a lot about like those things. And also I really do believe that these have their own consciousness. And so it's also showing up to them with some reverence and an offering of yourself. You know, you don't want to go in and be asking for all of this stuff from the medicine and still keep parts of yourself in reserve. I think that's where it can get difficult.
Yeah, that's my experience with psychedelics.
Yeah.
Is the more I withhold and try to control,
Yeah.
the more the medicine goes, hey, buddy,
Yep.
you got to look at all this stuff. And then when I look at all the stuff, it gets really difficult because it's the stuff I don't want to look at.
Absolutely.
It's very much like falling out of the boat in the middle of the rapids.
Yeah.
You better put your feet up, your arms and feet up, and surrender to the flow, you know, because you struggle and you're going to hit a rock.
Resistance is futile.
No, it's not futile, but it'll really screw you up.
It really can.
No, it
for
really
some
can,
people,
yeah. Because if the way you guys talked about it was absolutely right. You know, if you hold something in reserve, if there's something about you that you don't want to let control of, even if that is your own connection to reality and you don't want to feel out of control or something along those lines. Psychedelics are basically like, it doesn't matter. I'm already here and this stuff's going to happen. So,
right.
you know, and so I find it's that engagement of the ego that is being slowly dissolved with the psychedelics, and it's fighting as it goes down. Do you remember that scene at the end of Terminator 3 with the liquid one as he's going in out of the molten? Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
that's how I think of it in my head. I see things kind of very visually.
I like that. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but I think that that's true.
He fell in a vat of molten water,
Yeah.
and he was fighting to get out.
I think that is true with mushrooms. I think Aya is, for me or my experience, has been, it's a very consensual experience. It's like, do you want to? Are we going to work together? You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. Where mushrooms, I feel like they just rip the rug out from under me.
Tricksters.
Yeah, and I love them, but
They are
they
tricksters.
are. It's like, I think of mushrooms as very masculine, like very much a dad energy, like get your we're going. And ayahuasca to me is truly very feminine, where it's like, I love you. I know we're here to do some hard things. This might be uncomfortable. Do you have your bucket? You know.
Do you have your bucket?
Yeah, my security bucket for sure. But I think too the prep matters. Like, you shouldn't be going to psychedelics unless you have a really solid meditation practice, honestly, or a workout program, something that you have to force yourself to do because you know it's in your best interest, but it's hard to do consistently. The gym.
Why do you say that?
Because then when you're in a difficult moment with a psychedelic, you have the tools and the capacity to stay and see it through even when you are uncomfortable. And that is so important, to be able to know that you can go back to your breath, that you can remind yourself in that moment, this is going to pass. I will be okay. I am safe. I'm going to breathe. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders, you know? And so I think having a practice that's difficult, but is beneficial to you, I think is really important. I think being honest with therapists, if you are seeing one, and talking to them in preparation is really important. And just being with people that you trust.
And you know, that also brings up some things that I want to talk about around certain types of offerings that you can find, and you don't have to travel down to South America.
For sure.
There are, you know, cat's out of the bag. You know, there's ceremony spaces happening in this state and New England and all
everywhere.
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 And you know, how do I want to proceed with what I want to share? There are some people that are running these weekend retreats, these ceremonies that are absolutely in integrity.
Yep.
And then there's people that are absolutely out of integrity.
Yes.
You want to say a few words on that?
I think that's very true. I think it's
The Johnny Carson question would be, how could somebody tell if they were with somebody who was not?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
I would immediately, if I was, say, talking to that 13, 14-year-old kid, trying to educate them, ask that question. So
yeah. Oh, and for them, I'd be like, just wait a little bit longer. But I think talking to people in your network who are maybe already in these spaces is really important. I would also be asking the people who run these places, how often do you sit with this medicine? Who's your teacher? What's your lineage? What's your integration process?
And some people don't even know to ask about that stuff.
No,
They
you don't.
didn't
Yeah,
know
you
there
don't know,
was an
right.
integration process.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I thought I took it and I'm different.
Yeah. And those are the things that I would be asking, honestly. And really, truly also listening to your intuition, you know. And I think that sometimes, unfortunately, it might be trial by fire in some capacity, you know.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Do research on the group itself. Go to places where
Absolutely.
you can.
I mean, listen, there are
And avail yourself to testing kits too, if you are somehow going rogue
Oh, yeah,
on this stuff.
absolutely.
You know, we're not encouraging people to run out and get this stuff, but if you are, avail yourself to testing kits for some of the things that aren't
Dance
know
Safe.
them at first sight kind of things.
Yeah. Dance Safe is a good organization for that sort of thing. There's also the Fireside Project, which offers, they have like a hotline that you can call. So if you are in the middle of a difficult experience, you can call them, or you can reach out to them after for integration. There are some really great organizations. Maps.org, you can go on there. They have great resources. Years and years and years of research and studies. They can also put you in touch with therapists who are openly doing integration work with people and things like that, so you can be really transparent in that way.
I got connected to the Portland Psychedelic Society out of Portland, Oregon, and they have actually online meetings and stuff and are really informative, you know, because there is a lot more study and going on in that state just based on the laws. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's a good one to
Brooklyn Psychedelic Society is also beautiful. They have great stuff. And
Johns Hopkins has been doing some wonderful work too.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're local and you're doing these things, like at Tethered, twice a month, we have Entheo Hour for entheogens. So people can come. It's not very ceremonial. We just hang out. We talk about our experiences, what we're working on post ceremony, struggles we're having, wins we're having. But it's a place to be really transparent in community. And we also have a second group for Entheo in recovery, for people specifically in recovery.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And those are free, and it's just a community event to kind of talk about. It's hard. If you are doing these things, you really want to talk about it, and you can't talk about it with everybody,
Right.
unfortunately. So
Unfortunately, there's still a stigma attached to all this stuff, and it's infuriating to me that
It's very
there's
hard for people to change their mind.
Well,
yeah.
we have the evidence that supports. We have the statistics and the data that supports that there's really something here. Am I saying it's for everyone? No, but there's enough
But there's
information that
But
we
they-
have that it's yeah.
When has information ever influenced anybody?
Yeah.
It's true.
No, but I mean, it's true. People are going to sometimes only believe what they want to believe, despite the evidence, the actual physical evidence that's before them.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry. This is why I am very transparent, even though I have children, my husband's on a green card, right? All these things, but it's really important to me to honor the medicine by being transparent and honest about my experiences. And also, like, I'm a soccer mom. Like, I don't necessarily look like somebody who is doing these things. And so I think that's how that's my sacrifice to be able to sit in ceremony, is to show up and be really honest and transparent about my experiences, And so, because we do need to change the stigma. I mean, MDMA alone for people with PTSD, drug-resistant depression, suicide, all this stuff, it's like that medicine alone
Curing.
Like 70%.
I'm using that word cure.
Yeah, 70%
The,
would no longer be diagnosed with their
Psilocybin
ailment.
alone with PTSD and treatment-resistant depression is 10 times more effective than what the current stuff is on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Of course, these are also being done in controlled environments. So, they're giving somebody 8 grams directly and immersing them,
So 3 to 3.5 in therapeutic setting.
No, they were doing 6 to 8 with some of these.
With psilocybin?
I went to a talk. I can't remember the gentleman now, but he was from, it was. And that's, he came to St. A's and was giving a talk. He was from Johns Hopkins, and he was involved in some of the studies. And this was particularly, I think at the time he was talking about, major PTSD.
Okay.
And I think on average, the first dose would be like 6 grams. And then they would do bumps on top of that.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a lot.
I know
That's a crap
they
ton.
initially they were doing them by like you would regular medicine, take the person's weight into consideration, but that was not. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think that they were doing
This
such high
was,
doses.
I mean, these were trials too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Even using 3 to 3.5 grams, if you're not doing something therapeutically, is really going to change stuff for you for a few hours.
Yeah, for sure. I'd
Yeah.
rather go 5.
I had a cross wire thing one time with them where I went to move my arm and my leg moved.
Damn.
I went to move my leg and my arm moved, and so you crumple.
Yes.
And I was like that. I was down there for about an hour and a half. I was happy down there, but I wasn't getting up.
Yeah.
Funny.
And but yeah, it was a if you're not really prepared, which is that's the kind of thing. I wasn't with people who were going to take care of me or anything like that.
Those are the things you really want to consider. Like
Yeah,
set and
absolutely.
setting, absolutely.
Yeah, I try to do it wrong so you don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I definitely had. We've discussed this before on the shows that years ago I did a lot of. I didn't take a lot of direction.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah.
Oh, he takes direction real well nowadays.
Yeah. I'm I stopped.
So we have a
funny.
couple minutes left.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
What is it about, outside of the plant medicine conversation,
Yeah.
but, now honing in on community?
Yeah.
Like what is this thing about community? Because like there's another word that like we throw around and everyone seems to know what they mean about community, but do you have any words on that topic and the importance of it?
I think it's extremely important. I think it's something that we've lost, especially after COVID. But we're supposed to be in community. We are tribal people. We rely on each other. It's imperative to our survival. And the world is wild and crazy, and nobody should be going it alone.
No.
Ever. You don't have to.
A lot of the areas of our culture that used to be community centers aren't so much anymore.
Yes, exactly.
We don't have neighborhoods anymore. Well, we have
People-
neighborhoods,
people
but we
are
don't
less-
interact anymore.
People are less associated with a church.
Mm-hmm.
The town hall, the Grange, that kind of place isn't
Your
so
neighbors.
much anymore.
I grew up in the
Yeah.
90s where we were playing
So
pick up, outdoor hockey games and soccer games
Yep.
and riding our bikes. And nowadays you don't
So-
see this interaction between
Right.
people.
you don't have to. It's in your back pocket.
Oh, right. Yeah. You've got that button, that instant dopamine hit. And yeah, it's scary stuff. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I just wanted to add that in there. It's not that community went anywhere. It got digital, but we're not digital people.
Right. And that's,
And there's a whole part of us that still needs that.
yes. And that's kind of what Tethered is for us. It is, we're not doing Zooms. We're not doing anything on the internet. Like, show up. We have potlucks. We do all kinds of things. And it is for that. I want to be around people. I want to share my experience. I want to hear about other people. I want to be a support. We have a big age range. We have women who are in their 70s and girls that are in 19, 20 who come to stuff. And it's so beautiful to have this range of ages where you can listen to a woman who's 70 still doing her inner work and you just feel like, oh, okay, this is just life, right? Nothing's wrong with me because I don't have it figured out. This lady's 70, she doesn't have it figured out either. She has it more, but it's like we're always having to do the work or whatever it is. And it's nice to see that.
It's beautiful.
Now, is
Yeah.
Tethered for women only? Or?
No. Yeah, no. We would love more men to be involved. It is female heavy, but not for any reason or intention at all. Yeah, men are always, other than the women's circle, men are always welcome in our space.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
We do have one of our partners is a guy, his name is Mitch.
I know Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch is great. He's awesome. He's very knowledgeable. He holds our sacrament circles that we do every month. So we do have men around, but more would always be welcome.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
I think we're.
Thank you, guys.
I think that we're coming to the end. It's been on zero for a couple minutes.
This is the end.
This is the end. Da-da-da. My beautiful friends.
Shannon, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for letting me be here and have this experience. It was awesome.
Yeah, very.
I really appreciate it.
Very honored to have you, and I think that there's so much more
So
to
much
talk about. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many, and so be prepared to be asked back on the show.
I'd love to be back.
And
Yeah.
before we go, any final words that wrap up this topic? Do you have any final words, Dave?
Oh,
Yeah. No, I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah. Just thank you very much, both of you. 'Cause,
I do have a final word, and that is that one of the things that I learned with all my plant medicine work and experience is that I'm the medicine. Like, so the whole point of plant medicine is to realize that, like, you are actually the medicine, and that it's there to help, but life is the ceremony.
oh my God, yes. And we're so lucky to be having it. Just real quick, I
You
keep,
did have final words. I know you
I know,
did.
sorry. I was going to say, I just keep
Just had to prompt you.
I've been saying a lot lately that I'm really worried about that when I die, I'm going to look back and be like, I didn't human enough because I was trying to reach this state of enlightenment instead of just being in this like gorgeous, luscious texture of the human experience. you know, I'm trying really hard to focus on that more and have fun and play, you know?
I do.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So all you humans, human more.
Yes.
And with that, we humans will see you next time on Love Your Brain.
Yay.
Thanks for listening. And until next time. Oh, wrong setting.
That's better. Thanks for listening, and until next time, don't forget to love your brain.